You said stand reminder. I was like, I have a stand sit desk. Screw it. Like, I'm gonna stand up for this next segment. And I was like calling out, like, my kids like got me this morning on my shirt, and it's like it's just right under. So when I stand, it's like, here is the stuff that the children put on me this morning as I was getting ready to come upstairs, and I was like, no one's gonna see my belly. And then I'm like, let me stand up. Let's arise. So cool. All right.
Brian's gonna start wearing crop tops with a little like tied, like the.
What is that? Like you just
like the Daisy Duke, like.
I did shave my chest yesterday, which is good. But not sponsored by Manscaped, but it was my Manscaped razor that they sent us, etc. for that sponsorship back in the day. I always use that thing, and it was great. Well, especially because it's got that little light on it, and it's like it helps me kind of get
never ever pulls.
It helps
use
me
it in the shower.
Well, it helps me make sure I get all the hairs on the nipple, because it's like I have a little light there. So usually I end up always kind of missing a few.
It does. It has a little flashlight. You could shave your chest in the dark.
No, it's been wonderful. So it's like I really appreciate that. So they're not sponsoring us in this regards, but they did send that to me, and I'm like, I use it
that shirt they sent is so soft, and I wear it all the time around the house because it's soft. And then Claire will be like, "Hey, can you go to the grocery store and pick something up?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I don't realize that like the back is like your balls will thank you. And I'm just standing in line at the grocery store, and like people are looking at me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just here to get like, like whatever 2 or 3 things we're missing." It's like, oh, I just need some like green onions and cold brew, and I'm just sitting there holding those 2 things, and your balls will taste like, oh
yeah, mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, guys, I think that deserves a couple of likes if you haven't liked the stream over on YouTube. Guys, this is gonna be such a good day. I'm so freaking excited, and by the end of it, y'all are gonna be like, this guy has got no energy. he came in strong. Yeah. So there we go. All right. Cool. Let's see here, guys. Let's talk about our Final Fantasy XIV big topic for today. If you guys haven't been paying attention, we're gonna go through the full post with you guys and make sure y'all have all the beautiful information so you can protect yourself and more. Chris, I got it pulled up on the stream. Why don't you help walk us through what's going on with the against unauthorized account access and how we can defend ourselves?
Yeah, so yesterday I was actually streaming when people notified me the Japanese post of this did go live earlier. So that's the one I tweeted out before the live translation, before their actual official translation of this came out a little bit later. We were looking at the English one. This is precautions against guarding unauthorized account access. This is just good practice in general, but this is specifically focused on Final Fantasy XIV in this case, because they were experiencing a third-party attack that was attempting to gain access to the account management system. By using combinations of emails and passwords that appear to have been obtained from other online services. If your password was different, as a reminder, they were also saying like, if that password wasn't working, they were also, it looks like, trying things that were, just easily discernible. If you have things that keep other sequences such as like birth date or anything else they may have gotten. Which is actually why I always celebrate my birthday on August 8th, the birthday of Work to Game. And that is because I don't reveal my actual birthday, because for some reason, companies like this have decided that that's a security item. I would love to celebrate my actual birthday with you guys, but for some reason that identifies me. Resetting your Square Enix password. You want to... Do you get the notifications?
I do.
Oh, okay. So you want to reset your password if you haven't done that. I did not reset mine. What I did instead is I'd gotten a new phone, so I took the one-time password off until I rolled on my new phone, and I set that up. Very easy to do. You basically click their link, you download the app. The app looks like a little teal lock, a little Square Enix token. I'm green screen, so just imagine that's all green. It looks like a little lock token, and then you follow through that. It's going to email you a one-time password that's good for 60 minutes, and you set that up. Unfortunately, unlike the Blizzard launcher, you can't teach it to like remember your machine for 30 days. So now you're going to have to enter that one-time password every single time you log into the game or into the MOG station and so on. So
I would love just to on that though, because that is one of the biggest, it is this weird hurdle that just becomes an annoyance, because I've been using 2-factor authentication, but there's a part of me that's like, I wish you could say remember, and then if I was doing something concerning, like if I was like, you're trying to delete your character, like please enter in your code, in that regard. So because it does track your IP, etc. Like I wish
money. Yeah, whatever.
Like, because that would end up making it so much more enjoyable to log into 14, where like we were just talking about New World, and I was literally having a conversation with somebody talking about New World versus 14, and they're like, it's so easy to log into New World because it's a part of your Steam account. You literally just hit play, and it's not asking you for passwords. Like, it's removed every barrier to get you to log in and play. Like on the Steam Deck, I love Final Fantasy 14 on the Steam Deck. It is truly a great device for Final Fantasy 14, but I have to go and use the Steam Deck, you know, keyboard for the password and the one-time use. And so it ends up being like, do I really want to play 14 tonight? You know, and so it adds that extra level of steps. It's an important thing. Like, I'm glad I have it, especially after a system like this happens, but geez Louise. Anyway, I just wanted to jump in on that.
It's like 6 digits. It's a number. So it's not the end of the world. It just like, and as somebody that like has a public account and streams with the launcher up, it's just a matter of time until I accidentally reveal my username. And so then like I've really removed an element of the security. But if you don't feel like doing the one-time password, if you're willing to take that risk, at least reset your Square Enix password. At least go ahead and move that to being something unique. And then if you do the one-time password, I think there's a way to like save the backup key just in case like I ever lose this phone, because gaming customer service is a very hard thing to do well. So if you can just avoid it, that's better than having to use it and hoping for a good experience. So that's kind of our big PSA. I will tell you with the one-time password, I had a friend have to get his removed, and it was such an issue. He just no longer plays Square Enix games. And so just be aware that that's something that you want to do. You want to ideally have some way of kind of knowing that this, like, put it on, I think you can put it on like a token or
I have my Square Enix actually as a part of my Google Authenticator. So like I have like a lot of different systems. Oh, thanks, Siri. She's waiting. I figured that, Brian, of course.
Of course.
That sounds such like a Brian move. Yeah, absolutely. So it's like having that level of security is good. It does actually also in 14 give you a free teleport. Like you can actually, if you've got a one-time token set up, it will give you actually perks in the game, because I think they realize just how big of a problem this is. But I'm going to tell you hands down, even from Final Fantasy XI's days, like Square Enix, I think they could do so much better. Not just with like, because data breaches and things like that suck, but unfortunately, if you've been paying attention, you know that they happen. Don't wait to have your account compromised and your passwords compromised. Protect yourself, come up with a plan. But if Square Enix actually came out and said we're making adjustments to the one-time password thing, I think that actually would make my experience with their game so much better, because I have that on here and it literally is, it can determine if I'm going to play it or not.
Sometimes, but like, I don't know if it's every 30 days or if it's every time they think they just kind of like have a security thing. And so they just kind of hit reset on it or whatever. But it's not often. And so usually I actually, like, if I get disconnected from the game, I don't log back in from the game portal because it makes you enter it. I close the game down and I launch it from the launcher because the launcher has me authenticated on my machine.
And this data breach,
so they would let me, maybe if Square Enix ever gets a better, more robust launcher, maybe that's something that could come along with it. Because I think having a higher percentage of players have the one-time passwords would be an improvement to the community.
And remember, a lot of this seems like, especially this data breach, is it looks like passwords were actually obtained from other data breaches. And so they're being attacked with this, and they're detecting this large number of things. So it's like, it doesn't mean that your account
doesn't seem like 14 had the leak.
I think it's like another company, but because people usually use similar usernames and passwords, it ends up being like, oh, let's just run at them. And having that ability sitting here, and what it ends up being is like it could be a test of that to see if they can continue to put value and sell your credentials on the dark web. So there's all kinds of aspects of that y'all should just be aware of. Protect yourselves, and it doesn't necessarily have to constitute that like your information got compromised at Square. Just the fact that as human beings, we literally, we know, I know this. I literally know people who are like, my password's password. Like, okay, like, all right, there's a common set that you can just guess in terms of that, especially within certain things. So that would be my thought. Like, I wish Square Enix would do it much, much better in terms of their one-time password. But I think, this would be a good opportunity if you guys don't want to use the one-time password to maybe also change your password regardless, especially if you use a similar password across multiple games, multiple services, things like that. these are unfortunately the times in which that we live in, and don't assume that your information's safe. Just like Chris doesn't give out his birthday. A good one is usually when you see those questions that kind of pop up, like, hey, your Final Fantasy character is this month and whatever. And it's like, oh, I'm a white mage in this year. It's like, yeah, you just pretty much gave away your like those end up being like ways that people try to hack humanity, in that regards. And that's what hackers are more or less going for now, because essentially encryption is like, oh, I don't, like there's detection, there's better defenses. And so it's easier for somebody to hack a human being than it is to worry about trying to break into a secure network, etc. So it's like, oh, I got your password and now I have full access. So that's the pathway that a hacker is more or less going to approach it.
Well, that's where we're at. Anything that you don't have on two-factor is great. It's going to be, they're going to be trying to log either straight into the log station or straight into, anything they can there. So
this be both.
It's not going to matter what platform you play on. It's going to matter that they have your username and password and they can go access it on the Square Enix website.
Right. So whether you're PlayStation or PC, like they can, and honestly, they could change your own password, lock you out of the account, and try to sell your account as well. Like imagine that. And it's like, I've often said that it's like, if, Square Enix just deleted my character, I think that's when I'd be done with the game. Like, I don't think I would be like, yep, I'm going to do that all again. No. That's essentially kind of how. So yeah, protect yourself, change your passwords. If you don't do the two-factor is the best way, because they would have to go to insane lengths to be able to verify that, whether it's through email, two-factor, or phone, or
I know it's insane because it's hard for me to log in. I got disconnected in-stream yesterday. It's like, oh yeah.
So yep, that's pretty much that. Like, I don't have anything else to add. I just
no, just a PSA. In more positive news, thank you guys for all the support over on Twitch. We just triggered one of these boost trains that shares our community out with even more people through the recommendeds and stuff. So thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for pushing us to over 100 people on the Twitch side. We have a goal of trying to get that number up to 200 plus. I think that would be like a really good step, especially in terms of like opportunities that open up to us as content creators. And so, yes, when we say that your lurk support is support, that is so massive. And then also what's massive is Motopain gifting out 5 subs to the community. Thank you so much for that. Pushing that boost train up even higher. So any other thoughts or anything we want to kind of talk about before we have a marathon day, guys? This is going to be a big day.
I just wanted to get the kind of bad and scary news out.
Yeah.
Because we've got a big night tonight and it's all going to be positive. We're going to be focused on Criterion. We're going to be focused on Relic. And I do wonder, are we going to hear anything about Ultimate? Because Ultimate's coming with 6.3 and is the original timeline. And if that is really ready for 6.3, maybe they'll be quiet. But I assume if that's going to be delayed, they'd announce it as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. And I say delayed because Dragon Song was originally for 5.3. You would never release an Ultimate on a Savage patch. I think that would be a terrible thing moving forward. We want to keep that paced out. So then it got moved to 5.5, which made sense. But then people were frustrated because I think 5.5 doesn't give it a very long lifespan before it becomes legacy content, but it didn't end up being ready anyway. Yeah. So it got kicked out to 6.1. And so with our next Ultimate, this being, I guess, the first Endwalker Ultimate, with 6.3, part of me wonders, will it slide to 6.5? And if it slides to 6.5, will it slide to 7.1? In theory, they were being developed in parallel. So in theory, we're all protected. But, we haven't heard anything.
We do know that after this, because this is also tied to the 14-hour live, stream, so they're going to keep that going and rolling beyond the live letter tonight. And it's going to be a long night if anybody wants to hang out for that full stuff. But we do know that we'll still get more live letters as they start to step up to 6.3. We've got, the 2 live letters planned. This is another special one that's kind of really tied into the anniversary. So I still think that that's going to start dropping. That kind of information is going to start being scheduled most likely in December. But you've got the stream. Can we start to maybe try to predict the technical 6.3 live letter dates as well? Because like we know that the second live letter will constitute when really the patch is going to drop.
All right.
That would put us around Christmas, you know, for that.
Over on the Twitch side of things, we're gonna pull up the MMO spreadsheet of Epic Nerdiness, which has every patch from Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft, including into the future. But you were asking about specifically live letters, are you not?
Yes, that's what we're really.
So here's every live letter date for the last 72 live letters. And live letters come in two parts. The first part tends to be, you know, several months out, sometimes tied to an event like FanFest and all that. But the second one tends to be 11 days before the patch. PLL 67 was 27 days, but we knew that patch had a 2-week delay. 11 plus 2 weeks, that's pretty freaking close. So if we go look at patch date, you are asking when 6.3 is. Keep in mind that Ultimate is probably 1 to 2 weeks after that for 6.3.1. So I believe 6.3 falls in January because I think they would try to avoid another December holiday thing. It may slide into December. It could be that far forward because 84 days is a long cycle from 6.2 to 6.3. But if 6.3 ends up being January 10th, if we back up 11 days, we basically end up with roughly a New Year's Eve live letter somewhere in that time frame. So it'll be 11 days before patch 6.3 is when the second live letter will happen. And the second live letter gets much more predictable based on when the first one is, because there does appear to be sometimes a relationship between those two. We could see that patch slide as far forward as mid-December. Because it's 84 days. If we slide that up to December, like December 13th, for example, that puts that 56 days. That's really fast. 56 days since the half patch.
Yeah.
And that would put our live letter the December 10th-ish. Or no, I mean December 2nd-ish.
Yeah. And then the second live letter would be after Christmas, I would assume, or like right before it.
No, that'd be the second one then. So we'd end up with one in November.
Okay.
So I think second live letters in December regardless.
Yeah. And then okay, cool. So then that basically is like this is a live letter for October, and then we'll see probably one, you know, December, like November and December, which then constitutes the details of 6.3 as well. So I think that's going to be really, really exciting to see. So lots of stuff. Like I think we're going to see a lot more Final Fantasy 14 kind of news, kind of build up to the next patch itself. So I do stand with you on January. It just feels like January is going to be a better time to release the update, and that also makes January a lot of fun. You know, like in my mind, because it's going to be cold and you know you kick back and you don't have a lot of holidays that are like, well, I would raid but got family, and I don't think they want to be like, yeah, we had 2 Savage raids kind of falling on the holidays themselves. That ended up being, I think, pretty stressful overall. I think we got to, go ahead.
Historically, Heavensward and Stormblood both had 3 live letters between 6.2 and 6.3, with one being focused on something else, like a UI update or explaining what the hell Eureka was. And so the fact that we're getting this live letter now, that's not weird. 3 live letters between these has been the historic norm. We ignore Shadowbringers because nothing was normal about Shadowbringers. Because we were all living in Ziploc bags. So Heavensward and Stormblood teaches us that there would be 3 there.
Yeah. And then they have moved the Savage to drop the Savage raid a week after. So that would put, the 17th of January. Oh, no, we don't have a Savage this one. That'd be an Ultimate. So if they run Ultimate as a part of 6.3 or 6.3.5, I guess that will be telling. Maybe we'll get it. Yeah, like I said, maybe we'll get a preview of that, but I think they're going to focus in on the Criterion and then a lot of these interviews, and the live letter in November will be more that like, okay, let's actually now talk about it. So they might tease it in terms of like maybe an offhand comment or remark, etc. But that's going to be kind of where that's, I think, ultimately going to be at. Let's thanks to people, because then I'm going to make sure that everybody here raids over to Twitch if they can. And then who I saw a bunch of different things come in.
A bunch. Luke came in with a Prime, and then Lunar Systems gifted a sub, and then another one. And then Fairbow came in with Prime. Muto came in with Prime. Muto gifted 5 subs. Lunar cheered. Bunkle came in with Prime. Lunar gifted another sub. And then Distorted gifted some subs. Thank you guys. It makes a big difference to Brian and I. Now they have this new boost system. So what it does, it introduces work to game to more people as Twitch gets better at, in my opinion, gets better at not just sorting number of streams by number of viewers, big to small, and starts to say like, well, who else might you like? So I've actually really enjoyed the new Twitch layout where it's helped me discover people that like I actually enjoy it. I'm not just clicking the largest streams. So, and what it does is if there's any wiggle room within that recommendations, while somebody has a hype train going, it slides you up that recommended. So kind of a neat way of saying, hey, there's people excited about whatever the hell's going on in the stream right now. It's probably worth checking out.
Yeah. All right, let's. I think that's actually a really good way to end on. And thank you guys so much for the boost support over on Twitch. This has been Brian and Chris for Work to Game. This is the Crystal Core Radio podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for being a part of these live shows. Thanks for being a part of the MP3s. You guys can subscribe to any of the audios wherever podcasts are consumed. And hopefully we'll see you guys in our next live show and tonight as well. But until then, take care.